Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're looking at what is the best, in my opinion, sports and wildlife camera combination you can buy for less than £500. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through MPB, we're going to talk through some of the options, potential options you can go for, and then we're going to show you exactly what options I feel are the best and ones I've used when I first started going into photography myself, even though it was a little bit more than £500 at that time. But now you can get this combination less than £500 and it's a super good combination to go for. So let's get on to MPB and have a look through the options available. So here we are on MPB. So to find the cameras we're going to be looking for here, we're going to go over to the tab down here and Canon DSLR. And then what we want to do is we want to go price. We want to try and probably spend no more ideally than £200, but we're going to go and select a couple of options there. It's 100 to 300 here. Narrow it down a little bit on here. So you've got some great options here. You've got the 1D Mark IV, incredible body, incredible camera. Doesn't leave us very much though in the way of budget for a lens. Also got the 7D Mark II, another great option, but for a good quality one we're using about half our budget on the body, and you want to leave it a nice amount. For that you've got the 1D Mark III, but it's only 10 megapixels. You want something a bit better than that really. On there there's a 1DX with 224. I bet that's absolutely dead at that price point. What we want to look for is ideally something that's magnesium body, very fast. There's good loads of options here, but not anything magnesium body apart from the 1Ds. 7D here, £100 to £189. Have a look at that one. So how much can we get one of these for? So in excellent condition, 3,527 shutters, we can get a 7D, which is pretty much brand spanking new. So with how good a quality I know this camera is, I think this is definitely the one we go for. So I think we'll go for one of these. So, as I just said, the option I would go for personally is the 7D. These are so cheap right now for what they are, sub £200 for an absolutely incredible camera, and personally you just can't go wrong. Obviously the one I've got here, for example, has the extra grip on there. These aren't massive money either to buy, and then you get the use of a vertical button there and a set 2 batteries in the back as well. Massive frames a second. It's just an incredible versatile camera, and definitely is worth that sub £200 price point. So we're going to go with that as our body. Now we're going to look at lenses, and there's only really a couple of real true good options that I would recommend to go for. So let's have a look again on MPB and see what those options are. Now, because we've spent under £200 on the body, we've got £300 for a lens here. So let's have a look for what sort of lenses we can get for that sort of money. So we'll scroll down here, find Canon fit lenses. We're again going to narrow this down. So we go £200 to £300, see what that brings up. So we've got a few options here. On our lens here, nothing. We want something that's long reach. So we've got macros stuff, which is really good, but we want something bit more like longer reach like this. So we've got a Tamron 70 to 210 f4. Got a couple of L lenses popping up here. So we've got 7200 for f4 IS, which is pretty good. Would be a nice water sealed one there. You got a prime 300mm as well, so another good lens there. These will be sort of used quality, but good. We ideally want to try and get something 2.8. So we have got this 50 to 150 2.8. which is crop only, so it would limit you in the future if you wanted to go with a full frame camera, but definitely a good option here. Now this is the option I was looking out for, which is this one right here, 70-200 Sigma f2.8. It has a matte capability technically because it's got quite a close sort of focusing distance, but this here, for in a good condition, £274. All you've got to do is make sure that it looks a little beaten up here, but is the glass okay? We can look at that through the photos. Doesn't look to be any marks, a bit of dust in there. There's maybe a mark here, but interesting. Nothing really mentioned crazily on the description. Nothing marked around here. You can see here, just because of the design of these lenses, they just look really tatty if you don't look after them, but they actually are absolutely fine. A bit of rubbing here, but this one here, definitely I think we'll go for this one, just because we want to get that low aperture as possible. So 2.8 will be really nice to pair with the 7D, and it still leaves us a little bit of budget, about £50 to get a memory card, so then we can actually shoot from there. So add this to the basket, and then we'll go from there. So we've gone through a lot of great options there, but as I've said, the one I'm going to go for is the Sigma 70-200 non-IS f2.8 is the one that I would recommend going for. This is the example I've got here. It's a really good lens, really solidly built. It's not water sealed like the L lens that we looked at would have been, but it's still, to get that 2.8 is more than what you really want to try and get hold of. That 2.8 is a massive aperture to try and get hold of in sports and in wildlife photography. So I'd spend the extra little bit of money, still comes under £500, and go for this option here. And then combined with the 7D itself, you've got an incredible combination for under £500 to get going with. And obviously in the future, if you want to go with an L lens and you want to upgrade, you've got a good body, you can put some L glass in front of it if you want to, or you can then upgrade to a 7D Mark II or anything like that on the Canon side. I'm obviously not talking about anything Nikon, Sony or Fuji, anything like that, just because they're not brands I tend to use and I haven't used personally, so I don't know what the market looks like with them. This is purely just on the Canon side of things. But even if you're buying a cheap Nikon body, get the Nikon version of this lens and be an amazing combination still, I'm sure. But this glass is incredible, and it worked really well for me when I first started out, and then I upgraded over time to different lenses like the 300mm f2.8, the L70-200 version with the IS on there, and then the 500mm. So definitely something, go for these ones here. Let's look at a few of the photos you can get with this combination, and then we'll talk a little bit further from there. Okay, so here's the first photo we can look at here, which is of a very nice MG Metro Group B rally car at Goodwood Festival of Speed. So by the hay bales in the background there. But this is slightly lower shutter speed, just try and get some movement in the wheels itself here. But you can see how it's a little bit noisy, not 100% sharp. This is because the limitations of the focusing system potentially, but you can see how it is all there, and it is still an okay photo. It's not, say, what you'd get from a top end camera, but still a very usable photo in my opinion there. Next photo we have here is of a owl here, just posing nicely. Focusing point is on the eye. You can see again, it's not 100% like sharp. It's on focus on the eye, but it's not as sharp as what you'd expect from a much higher quality camera. But again, for the price point, absolutely usable. If you popped a bit of an edit on here, you'd be absolutely happy with this. Even from this sort of here, you can't see it's not 100% sharp. It's totally usable, and there's no issues here at all. We're using slightly above 2.8. You can see the eyes are in focus, but also the beak is in focus too, but then it fades out a little bit towards the back there. But again, very usable photo considering the money we've spent on the camera combination. Now, this is probably my favourite photo that I've taken on it on the 7D combination. This nice owl in flight here, everything nicely paused in motion. It was a nice sunny day, so we could use a nice high shutter speed. We zoom in the eyes, the face here, all in focus. Really nice here. Everything's kind of, you got everything blurred out in the background there quite nicely too. And this is a shot you could definitely get with the 70-300 or the f4 70-200 and stuff like that. But you can use just that slightly higher shutter speed just because you've got that 2.8, and you can freeze that motion a little bit better with this lens for sure. So happy with that one there. And the final image we got here is from a bike race. So this is a lower shutter speed, as you can tell, because the wheels are spinning and slightly blurred out there. but it's a fast enough shutter speed. The legs are totally frozen, and the body itself and everything is nice and frozen. Everything's kind of where it should be really on here. So you can see that on the wheels there, how they are still spinning through on that low shutter speed, but everything is nicely where you want it to be, sharp enough to be totally usable, and still very happy with this combination from what I've got from those 4 photos alone. So that's all the images that we've got from this setup. As you can see, they're not as good as what you would get on a 1DX Mark II or an R6 with an L lens in front of it, but they are still very much more than adequate, and better than if you went for like a basic 70 to 300mm lens instead of this one, or if you went for a D1000 or something like that. You're getting a lot better quality photos with this combination than if you cheamed out on certain areas. And say you could potentially almost get a 7D Mark II if you got a well-used one and then a really cheap lens, but you wouldn't be getting anywhere near the quality of photo because the glass isn't as good. So it's good to spend more of the percentage of your budget on the glass. 100%, whatever you go for, do that and get a good body behind it. So the 7D, it's water it's magnesium body. You can put a grip on it if you want to, and it is just a very, very versatile and good workhorse to run with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you would buy if you had £500. Let me know if you're still running the 7D or if you're using this lens, and let me know, send me links to your social medias if you want to, and I'll check those out and have a look what you get with your cameras. So catch you in the next one. Subscribe, comment and like as always, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.